All right, let's take you to this story now. So police have closed in on illegal miners in the northwest. This is after 340 more people resurfaced from an abandoned shaft in Orkney. And that brings the total number of illegal miners who've been arrested in the area to 565. It forms part of the police's Operation Vala. But to tell us more about it, we are joined now by Acting National Police Commissioner Shadrack. Sibiya. Commissioner, good afternoon to you, evening rather. Thank you so much for your time. Quite a remarkable number, 565 just out of Orkney alone. Talk to me about the tactics that have been used to be able to get this result.
Good evening, Naledi, and good evening to the viewers at home. First and foremost, let me start by commending our men and women in blue for their hard work and in combating this type of crime, this illicit mining and other crimes. And we really applaud them for their hard work. And we are registering commendable progress. We are making serious inroads in stamping the authority of the state. And we are working with the community. Members of the community are also assisting us, working with the community to make sure that we root out these illicit miners.
And I imagine that in working with the community, that is how you were able to decide exactly how you're going to tackle the issue, right? I believe that as part of Operation Vala, the work has been really to decipher where illegal minings are getting their supplies and then targeting some of those areas.
Yes, Operation Valumgoti is a serious operation. We make sure that we, as a strategy, we block the food supply. And you remember that as much as the community is also assisting, there are also those members of the community who are feeding the situation in such a way that they use other holes to be able to supply. So in order, and as part of the strategy, we make sure that we close the supply. That is why you see many of them resurfacing and coming out. And that's part of the strategy that is really working. And you can see they're coming out in numbers now.
Yeah. Talk to me about an example of where you were able to actually do this successfully, because I'm also just trying to look at, what it looks like when the operation is in place. You block off areas where food supply is then sent into these illegal miners. Once that happens, how long has it taken until they're forced to resurface?
Remember in Velcom, in the Free State, we had a similar situation, and what the strategy they applied was just to make sure that they block the supply. And once you block the supply, they become dehydrated, they are hungry. Some of them spend almost 2 weeks without food, and they are now finding themselves in a situation where they are now forced to resurface, to come up. And that is why now, as a strategy, we're going to make sure that we close all the other holes and make sure that the supply is stopped. And in that regard, you can see that it's working, it's doing wonders. They are coming out, and we are able to now arrest many of them.
Yeah. Operation Valamgoti, the numbers that we're looking at right now is 565 just in Orkney, in the northwest alone. But the operation in and of itself kicked off last year. What's the tally on how many illegal miners you have been able to bring in?
Since last year, we arrested up to 13,691. In the Free State alone, we arrested 2,853. Limpopo is 2,758. In Gauteng is 2,595. And in Northwest, I don't have the figures here, but we also have more than 820 people arrested in Northwest.
Yeah. There's also the point that you've made around the community and those that feed these illegal miners as they operate. So the economy that is built around some of these illegal mines, I mean, that also needing to be a concern. I mean, at what point do you then look at the role of the community in allowing some of these illegal miners to continue their work?
It is unfortunate that, firstly, it is affecting the community themselves, because once you have this illegal mining going on, there are other crimes that are taking place around there in those areas. But the instability also of the land itself, there are holes everywhere. People, the dangers of people running the risk of falling into such holes. So it is very much important and crucial for the community to work with the police and to make sure that we clamp down on these ones. Now, unfortunately, sir, some of the community members are looking more into benefiting in terms of making sure that they support, they supply the food, because they are selling. To them is business, but on the other hand, they forget that this is affecting the land, and tomorrow they will not be having any land, because it's becoming shaky and it's dangerous to walk. You cannot just walk across from this point to the other point, because people are going to start putting into the holes. So it is very much important to make sure that we clamp down on this thing and make sure that we stop it once and for all. We are working with the MRE, we are working with other relevant stakeholders, making sure that we stop this phenomenon.
Yeah.